Because I am a software engineer who went on to do filmmaking and then who went on to do some marketing in the real estate segment, and then I went on to come and lead the digital studies in Odisha television, and then went on to study in IMA, and then came back, and I'm still, carving my own path. So when I was in college, was I even listening to speakers? Maybe not, And sometimes when I come to these gatherings, I do not want to sound very monotonous and boring. So I probably use maybe I would, if I was sitting in your place, I wouldn't be listening to me right now. So I need to sort of make this conversation a little more interesting for all of you to be able to at least take something from whatever my journey has been. So I was just like you guys, I was interested more in organizing and leading than more in the sitting and studying in academics, etc. Of course, I was great at my academics thanks to all the schools and colleges that you are in. And but let me tell you one thing. I think I read a lot of leadership books and this and that, and a lot of times each one of you is a leader, and you never plan to do something. Most people who are in leadership skills today are by accident. And that is when you find yourselves just standing up to something or taking a stand and saying, hey, let's solve this. A lot of times when, say, you're playing gully cricket or sometimes you're doing something, there is no referee, there is no person who's coming and saying, hey, this is right and this is wrong. As students, as kids, you all get together and be like, hey, this is the correct thing to do and this is not the correct thing to do. So what is that? That is leadership, right? At the moment you guys coming in and, I get to know that this is the first time you guys are doing this program in this university. This is leadership, right? Sometimes we tend to ignore the little things, but I think that is what makes you who you will be tomorrow.
Thank you, that was amazing, especially when it comes to women. Has been a lot of struggle, I would say. But you have made that in a very potential way, where you have come from a magic scratch, I would say.
It's a very interesting question. Because I would say that not only women in multimedia, it's a struggle for women. Women in any industry has been a struggle. It's much, much better today, right, than what it was. And while we can say that we're still struggling, I think a lot of things let me talk about multimedia. So while we've seen a lot of women breaking the glass ceiling in different industries, in multimedia that was a little slower in when it progressed. And I think why there is not much representation today. I think there is a lot of representation of women in multimedia, and I think it is because of the role models and the mentors that you have in the multimedia industry. So for me, I would say it was not a struggle because I think my mother, Panda, she is one of the first women, not only in Odisha, but in the country to be a leader in the media space. And she was actually the first woman. I think this is a very less known fact, but she was the first woman in India to be leading the media industry. I think in 1997 we didn't have many women in media leading the media organizations. So I would say that she endured the uncomfortable to make it comfortable for me and for many other women who want to enter media today. She is not only one of the most impactful people in Odisha but in the country, and we need more people like her, and there are more people like her today who have sort of made it comfortable for me, for you, for all of us to enter the multimedia. So I think representation of women in those roles is helping. See, we cannot solve the problem in a day, but it's definitely be getting there. So yeah.
So you have been actively participating in all sorts of multimedia activities that's going on, and I see your pace is very active. I would say, I would ask the crowd to please clap for this statement that she's actively participating in every step she's working out. So, don't you think maintaining that equilibrium of the pace that you're working in, do you think there should be a certain amount time span for the pace that a person or a woman should work when it comes to the multimedia field?
Look, for anybody in leadership role, I would say not only a woman or man, there are a lot of things that are important. Also work-life balance and how much you're committed, how dedicated you are, and a lot of strategic decisions that you take at the top. The reason why Odisha Television Network, it's been 25 years, so OTV turned 25 this year, and it's a great milestone for us to achieve. And what I'm proud of the organization is that it's not as complacent as a lot of organizations over the period of generations get. And I think that is only because we intend to keep the energy going. We don't think we are number one. I mean, although we're very proud that we're number one, guys, I'm not being humble at all. But we don't think we have arrived. And I think that is something that we always focus on. We've not arrived. We have to constantly keep developing. So it doesn't matter who is in that role, a woman, a man, it's me, it's you, it's anybody. If we feel today that we have arrived, then we're not going anywhere. Right? So I think that is what we believe in our core. And hence I think the kind of pace we move at is much faster than our competitors or anybody else in the same industry, because we're always reaching for the stars and the moon, although let's wait for this.
So like this statement, I would say, so being in such a position, you are getting to lead such a big firm or organization, I would say, there are women, and I have seen OTV giving that some amount of chance to the women, those who want to get into the multimedia field, and also giving them such competent positions. So don't you think that if the other persons, those who are working in the same firm, if they come under sign of these women competent positions, don't you think the whole organizations would be running in a very better and a positive way, because the women are running it on such a good pace? What will you say about it?
Look, even the research says that no team, teams which have more diversity and teams which have more inclusive. So the research suggests that teams that are more diverse and have more inclusivity of, of different perspectives, because they bring different perspectives onto the table. And a lot of times, it's not teams that are homogeneous in nature, that is led totally by men or totally by women. I don't think those teams do as good as teams that are more diverse and more inclusive in nature. So, in my opinion, we are open. We are definitely open to hiring. I wouldn't say we're open to hiring women or we're open to hiring men. We are open to hiring competent resources. We are here to provide people with an opportunity, with a platform to prove themselves, to excel in the industry, and we're always here. But in my opinion, although I'll come to another point, is that women-led teams are said to do much better than their male counterparts, and I'll also tell you why that is, because mostly women lead with a lot of compassion, a lot of collaboration, they insist on a lot of work-life balance, and all this leads to a lot of team motivation. So obviously those teams perform better than the male counterparts, but then there are other studies also that suggest that there are some women who are, criticized for their leadership style and toxic work environment, etc. So yes, as the research suggests that women are more empathetic, more collaborating, more work-life balance suggesting, which gets the team to be more enthusiastic about working. It also again depends on a case-to-case basis. But you're right, and we're open. And anybody wants to join us, let me know.
So guys, the only thing that relates much to me is the work culture.
I think, like I said, that having women in leadership roles